All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see everyone here. Welcome all of our Cloudways friends. Great to be here today for this new Agency Breakthrough Masterclass series. We're going to be focusing on how to build your email list by building effective lead magnets. So welcome to this new Masterclass series we're doing here with Cloudways today. Really excited to be with you all today. So if you're just now joining us, great to have you here. Let us know in chat that you're hanging out with us today, either on Facebook, YouTube, or Periscope. Great to have everyone here today. My name is Brent Weaver. I'm going to be hosting today's masterclass on how to build more effective lead magnets, how to grow that email list, how to build that list of prospects that want to do business with you. Email lists are one of the most powerful ways to grow your business in any economy. Whether it's good times or bad times, having an email list is a marketing asset. And these days, with all of the different marketing platforms out there like Facebook and things like that, you can actually use your email list in a lot more ways than just sending people emails. So that's super cool. So we want to help you all grow your email list as much as possible. So this is actually a session that's a part of a masterclass series. We're gonna be running 4 sessions that are all about building your list using lead magnets, because growing and nurturing an email list for your agency is one of the top ways that your business can build long-term momentum. We want to help you find your next client by giving away high-value resources so you can earn your prospects permission to stay in front of mind long enough to build that solid relationship so that you can have that foundation and turn them into a client. So we're going to be doing this 4-part masterclass. We're going to walk you step by step through some high-level concepts around building your lead magnets, building your list. We're also going to actually walk you through some examples of building your list. We're going to bring on some members in the next couple of series, some of our fans, to actually build some lead magnets live. And then we're going to teach you some strategies and tactics on how to actually rapidly grow your list. So really glad to be a part of this Cloudways training, and excited to be here. So this masterclass is a 4-part masterclass. Today is part 1. So if you're excited about being a part of this masterclass series, let us know in the comments that you're hanging out with us today. And yeah, we're pumped. So let's get started. If you don't know who I am, my name is Brent Weaver. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called YouGurus. We are a business coaching and training program for digital agencies. We help digital agency owners that are struggling to attract and win high-value, high-paying clients. We founded our company back in 2012. I founded my first agency in 1999, and I am a Cloudways maverick. Cloudways is a fantastic managed cloud hosting platform, and they have gotten together some of the best industry influencers and leaders, people like Lee Jackson, Jan Koch, Peach and Neri, to come together and help educate, inspire, and challenge you to grow your business. So I'm here today to help you do just that. Here in a couple of weeks, so not today, but in a couple of weeks, we have part 2 of our masterclass series. So today we're going to be talking about why lead magnets are important. We're going to be talking about some key principles about lead magnets and why they're going to help you grow your list. But in a couple of weeks here, December 17th, we're going to run our next part of the masterclass series. And we're going to be specifically talking about the actual magnets themselves. So we're going to be talking about types of lead magnets that you can build, types of lead magnets that actually get you conversions, and better yet, types of lead magnets that get you conversations, which is what we're really all about here, right? We don't want to just build some cool things that are out on the internet. We want to help you actually get conversations flowing for your business so you can get more leads, get more clients. So really excited about that next upcoming masterclass series here with Cloudways. Today is all about list building magnet success. List building magnet success. So we want to help you get more clients for your digital agency with an email list. And we have to have an email list building strategy that you can scale and nurture over time. A lot of web designers, marketing agencies, app development agencies are struggling to build that long-term success. And lead magnets and lists can be a key part of that. So this should not be a slow and arduous process. A lot of times when I talk to agency owners and they're telling me about building lead magnets, They're spending weeks on them or months, right? They're like, oh, I know I need to do that, right? And they have it on their to-do list and it sits there for weeks and weeks and weeks. And what I want to teach you about today is why we want to be able to build magnets quickly and focus more on the traffic side of the equation than the lead magnet side of the equation. So we'll talk about some specific strategies to do that. For me, right, why I think this is so important, we're going to go into more detail on this, but I've been able to grow an email list of over 100,000 prospects using lead magnets in my business. Having 100,000 people, like literally millions of dollars, I've created millions of dollars of revenue for my businesses through the use of lead magnets and list building. So if you've been holding off on building a list for your agency, if you've been holding off on building a lead magnet, hopefully today's session will not just inspire you, but will actually give you the roadmap to doing that successfully in your business. So we're gonna be giving you some real life examples, some case studies today. We're gonna give you a little bit of a workbook to help you to actually build lead magnets into your business and even identify maybe your first successful lead magnet that can help you grow your list. I'm gonna paste a copy of our workbook into chat. So if you all would like to download the workbook that we're gonna be using today, you can find that in the chat box here today. If you really like today's training, if you're digging this and you want to learn more about what I do here at UGurus, drop me an email, brent@ugurus.com. Say, hey, Brent, I'd love to learn more about U Academy. We'd love to teach you and challenge you more to grow your business. Today's training is kind of an example of what we do at my company, UGurus. Now, we're giving this all away for free for all of our awesome Cloudways friends. But if you're like, hey man, I could use more of this in my business, feel free to reach out and ask me for more information on that. All right, so let's talk about where this fits into your business. So when I look at your agency, when we think about growing a list, when I think about your agency and trying to grow and scale your agency, like that's what we want to ultimately do for your business, help you scale your business. The first part of that is we need to help you to attract more leads into your business. If you're surviving off of referrals and word of mouth right now, that is a problem because sometimes referrals and word of mouth dry up, or maybe you're not even attracting the right kinds of leads. So we want to help you attract the right kinds of leads and we want to help you attract quality leads. Once we do that, we need to figure out how to win those people into deals, into projects, into revenue, income for your business. Once we win a deal, we need to figure out how to delight our clients, deliver and delight our clients. And when we do that successfully, something kind of cool happens. When we make people really happy, they go out there and they talk about us. When we get really great results, we have case studies, we have examples, right? Lots of people like to get results that other people have achieved. So that helps us to attract more leads. And when we attract more of the right leads, we win more deals. And when we win better deals, it's easier to attract, or it's easier to deliver and delight our clients. So this is how I look at your business. And this is important for today's session. This is super important for today's session because we're going to focus on this part here today. Because my belief is when you attract more of the right people to your business, it's a lot easier to sell. And when it's a lot easier to sell, it's a lot easier to deliver. If you're attracting ideal clients that kind of fit a certain type of profile, you're going to make more money, you're going to make more profit, you're going to be able to scale your business more effectively. So today we're going to be focusing in on some concepts around attracting leads, specifically lead magnets and list building. Lead magnets and list building. So quick pressure check. If you're watching this today, you might fit into a couple of different categories. One is, the first question is, do you actually have an email list? Do you actually have an email list? So a lot of people don't yet have an email list for their business. Some people have a list that they've been building, but they've never actually emailed that list. Maybe they've got 50 people on it. Maybe they've got 100 people on it. Some people tell me when I ask them this question, I say, hey, do you have an email list? And they're like, oh no, I don't have an email list. And I'm like, yeah, you do. If you have an inbox, you have an email list. Okay, there are people that you've done business with. There's people that you've met at events. There's people that you've met networking. Maybe it's even friends and family. That is a list. When I first started my agency, I had no official email list, but I had a bunch of friends and family. And I emailed them and I said, hey, I'm building websites. Do you know anybody? And it was totally crickets. And then I emailed them again. Hey, here's an example of a website I just built. Check it out, right? And somebody emailed me and they said, oh, hey, this is awesome, Brent. I don't have a use for this right now, but I'd love to learn more about what you're doing. And then it evolved from there. So my belief is that every one of you has an email list, but you might not realize it yet. So we want to take that quick pressure check, right? That temperature and pressure check. Do you have an email list? If you think you don't, I promise you do. And then if you do have an email list, take an inventory of how many emails are on that list. Is it 50? Is it 100? Is it 500? Is it 5,000? The very, very first launch I ever did, was to an email list of 500 people. We made over $100,000 on that launch. 500 people, $100,000 launch, $100,000 in revenue from that list of 500 people over a 12-month period of time from one initial launch. So a lot of times people think that you have to have an email list of thousands and thousands, right? Like I have tens of thousands of people on my email list today. And it's awesome, it's amazing, right? But even when you have a list of 100 or 50 people or even 25 people, you can get a lot of value out of that. So the size of your email list is something that you want to look at. It does matter at some level. But the other thing is the frequency in which you market to that list. The frequency in which you market to that list. So the size of your list and the frequency in which you put your message in front of that list are two factors that you want to look at. Some people have an email list of 100 people, but they're not actually putting their message in front of that list. And that's a problem. That's a problem. So we want to look at that size and that frequency that we're sending out to our email list, right? Just keep that in the back of your head for today, because our goal is to do two things. One, grow the size of the list. And two is to increase the frequency in which you are putting your message in front of that list. Now you might be out there today running your agency, freelance practice, web design company, marketing agency, app development agency, and you might have thought, hey, I should grow an email list. What's the hardest part? What's been the biggest block for you in growing or building or starting your email list? A lot of people will tell me things like, you know, they don't have enough time to grow their email list. They don't have the right tools in place. They're not sure where to start. What we want to make sure today is that none of those reasons keep you from actually taking action on building and growing your email list. Now, a lot of people think too, like, hey, is email still relevant? You know, should I be doing this on social media and all that kind of stuff? You could even look at the word list and say that that's more important, right? Just the idea of a list. Today, we're gonna be talking specifically about email, but most of these principles today apply to just about any other type of list that you'd be building. Whether you're building a social media list, Facebook friends list, a group, the things that we're gonna be talking about today are very much gonna apply to all that stuff. So what are the problems? What are the problems when it comes to building your lead magnet, growing your email list, getting more leads and prospects for your agency through these methods? Well, number one I hear from people is they don't have a list, they have a small list, or their list is inactive. No list, small list, or inactive. It's like a desert. It's like when I bring up email lists with people, they're like, they get all uncomfortable. It's just like a tumbleweed rolls by. Another challenge is you have a list, but it's not actually doing anything for you. It's not generating leads and it's not generating sales. That's another problem that that people have, is they have a list, but they're not actually using it. So the list is a kind of nice to have, but it's not actually getting them any income. It feels like an obligation. It feels like this thing that's hanging over your head. Like I need to send a newsletter or something like that, right? Like, oh, I got to get that monthly newsletter out again. You might not actually be sure how to use a list. I just mentioned the word newsletter. If your agency is sending a newsletter, I would look at that as probably one of the weakest forms of email marketing that you can do, because it's not direct response. It's, who needs another newsletter in their inbox? There's a couple of agencies that I know that have done this really, really well, and they've actually gone to great lengths to compile information for their clients. So they're not just like throwing random stuff together, but they're actually trying to create a little bit of like a feed for their clients that they cultivate. Sometimes that can work, but a lot of people just aren't sure. They're not sure how to use their list, and so what ends up happening is they don't use their list. And then there's this deep fear that we have when it comes to list building, when it comes to email marketing, and even social media for that matter. I don't want to bother people. I don't want to like just be one more voice in the marketplace. Like you might be thinking, oh man, I get a lot of email. I don't want to be bothering people filling up their inbox with one more message. The reality, though, is that people that choose to be on your list or that choose to follow you have actually already opted in. They've actually already expressed desire to hear from you. And so while this is a fear that we don't want to bother people, right? The reality is that anybody that is on your email list, as long as they've opted in, has actually told you that they want to hear more from you. So if you actually don't message them, if you don't email them, if you don't put your content in front of them, you're actually letting them down. So we want to make sure that we overcome this fear if you do have that fear. So the opportunity. What's the opportunity for your business today? Number one, we want to help you create a healthy and growing list. So it's going to seem like it's small at first. Like for us, that first 100 subscribers was really hard to get. And then that second, 300 subscribers was a little bit easier. And then the next 1,000 was a little bit easier, and things got easier as it grew, right? All of a sudden, it seemed like it was small at first, but then before we knew it, our email list was over 10,000 people in a year, right? Now, month to month, it felt like it was growing at a snail's pace. But after a year, we had over 10,000 people on our email list, and then we have leverage. We want your email list to help you get leads and sales on demand. There's people that I know that just nurture. They just nurture and nurture and nurture those lists, but they never actually ask. They don't ever make a request. They don't ever actually create some kind of direct response campaign. So they're nurturing, they're staying front of mind, but they're never actually giving people a path to do business with one another. So every once in a while, you can build up that pressure, grow the volume, but every once in a while, you got to turn the knob and you got to turn this thing on and you got to let some of that lead flow come into your business. Number three, we want to help you get a confident list strategy. Confident list strategy. So understand how to actually think about your email list in the context of the rest of your agency. Some of my clients that literally they have maybe 600, 700, 800 people on their email list. They send out one email a week. Typically, with that size of an email list, we're able to generate 1 to 2 strategy calls for your agency per week. That means an email list of 600 or 700 people could be getting you anywhere from 3 to 5 or 6 strategy call appointments per month. If you're trying to get 2 new clients a month, literally that could be your entire marketing strategy. We just send our 1 email a week to our list and then maybe have a small investment in ads or in content marketing to grow that list over time. So what would that do for you, right? If you had 500 or 1,000 people on your agency's email list and you could just send 1 email a week and that'd get you a strategy call, right? That'd probably feel pretty good. Finally, instead of you fearing your email list, we'd love for you to foster your list into raving fans. I love referrals, okay? I love getting referrals. I love when one of my clients refers me to somebody else. It's awesome. Right? I mean, I'm sure a lot of you out there love getting referrals too. But it's very different when a raving fan calls you up and says, hey Brent, hey John, I've been following you for the last 3 years, not in a stalker way, but I've read all your emails and I've listened to your podcast and I'm ready to do business with you. That prospect is very different than somebody who is referred to you or is a cold lead. who is a cold lead. We want to get you raving fans. For our live listeners, I just realized the workbook we sent you is the pages file. That's my bad. Let's get the correct version out to you here today. There we go. Hopefully that came through in all those channels. We want to foster our list into raving fans, and we want to foster those raving fans into clients. So we've talked about some of the problems. We've talked about some of the opportunities. Think about your business right now. How would it help you? I've talked about some things that you could get out of this, right? In terms of more leads, more clients, warming up those leads so they're not just coming in cold, right? Even some of my clients use their email list as a way to train their clients on how to be amazing clients. You know, imagine that somebody's on your email list for a year and you actually educate them over that year of how they can be a great client for you, right? Like people tell me all the time, like, oh, I have clients that come in and they have a terrible mindset. Then teach them how to have a great mindset over email before they become a client. Teach them how to be an amazing client. Teach them about why your web design services aren't just about websites, but actually can help your clients build an online business and get leads. Teach them about why marketing is not a one and done thing and how you need to create a sustained marketing effort over time, and consistency and frequency and amplification matters. Teach them about who an ideal customer is for you so they know who to refer you. So if you have these things, if you have gripes about what makes, what annoys you in your business, and you have an email list of 1,000 people that have said that they're potentially interested in doing business with you, gosh, I don't know about you, but that's a great audience of people to educate on not just the problems that you can solve and the results that you can get people, but also about how to be an amazing client. How to be an amazing client. So leverage your email list for more than just leads. There's a lot of things that you can do to get more of the right people into your business and to get those right people into amazing people. I'm going to teach you 5 hot principles, 5 key principles about how and why you need to be building your lead magnets, why this is a critical strategy for your list, and giving you some very specific examples here today. So if you are out there watching this today, this is a great time to grab that paper and pen and take some notes. Principle number 1, build your list strategy. Build your list strategy. Okay, we're gonna be talking about some lead magnets, but when I talk about a lead magnet, like why is a list important? Okay. Like we all like clients. When somebody refers us, it's like we get a client basically, right? Like if one of your clients refers another person that has their issue, like it's almost a one-to-one relationship to money, right? The problem is if you want to grow your business beyond referrals, right? You got to be a little bit more creative. And what I want to show you real quick is this idea of getting your market to raise their hand, right? These are people that are not yet ready to hand you their credit card. They're not ready to write the check to you. What we want to do is get a group of people that fit our ideal customer profile, that fit the type of person we want to work with, and we want to get them to raise their hand. So when you think about your lead magnet, when you think about your list, all I want you to do is think about sitting in front of a group of people, 500 people in an auditorium, right? And asking the question, who here is a blank, right? So if let's say you serve dentists or doctors, right? Who here is a doctor, right? And the room raises their hand, right? That's all your lead magnet is trying to accomplish for your business. Is get people to raise their hand, and then you're going to look at that group of people and you're going to say, I'm going to deliver some value to you. And if I deliver great value to you, maybe we should have a conversation. And if we have a conversation, maybe we should do business together. So I want to illustrate this real quick in terms of the size and scope of your market, right? If we think about this in 3 kind of circles, right? There's the group of people that today is ready to do business with you. They are ready. They're a referral. They're somebody you've given a proposal to, right? They're a really small group of people. If you think about your market, the group of people that is ready to pay you today is probably pretty small. Then there's the group of people that is willing to give you their time, okay? And maybe that's their time to watch a webinar or a video. Maybe that's their time to schedule an appointment on your calendar, right? They're not yet ready to give you money, but they're ready to give you their time. That group of people is a little bit bigger than the people that's willing to give you money, right? Because some people's time is just as valuable as their money, or maybe it's even more valuable than their money, and some people, they think their time is less valuable than money. But basically, there's usually a little bit bigger group of people that's willing to watch a video or schedule an appointment with you. The group of people in your market that is willing to give you their email address in exchange for something is like 1,000 times bigger than the group of people that's willing to give you their time or their money. And what we want you to do is to be able to get that list of people and be able to quantify them, to be able to capture that list, build that list as an asset for your business. Because as you grow this circle out, as you grow this circle of people that you have their contact information, what's going to happen is you're going to grow this list of people that are willing to grow, that are going to be willing to give you their time. And ultimately, you're going to grow the list of people that's willing to give you money. So when you think about your list strategy, we're trying to get as big a group of people in our market to raise their hand. Now, here's the problem. Here's one of the biggest mistakes that I see people do when they start building their email list. Is they, instead of offering a little bit of value to their market, they either ask people for their time too soon, or they ask people for money too soon. Your email list is not about getting, money in exchange for getting on my list. It's about giving a little bit of value in exchange for an email. And when you do that effectively, when you grow that email list, you're going to be able to grow your ability to get appointments with people. You're going to be able to grow your ability to get people to commit some of their time in exchange for some value. And ultimately, you're going to grow your ability to make money within your business. So our list building strategy, first and foremost, is trying to get this group of people out here to just simply raise their hand. Now, there's this guy named Dean Jackson, and he told me this story one time. He's a famous marketer, and he told me this story about some market research that people did. And they said, look, there are, when somebody is quote unquote in the market for something, there are those people that say yes, and there are those people that say no. Right? So they did this big research, and they found that, out of a group of a bunch of people that went to a conference, they followed a bunch of them. These people were quote unquote in the market for something. They followed them, and they wanted to figure out how many of these people ended up buying the thing that they were interested in versus the people that didn't. And they looked at that and they said, how many of these people bought the thing within 90 days? And they looked at the group of people and they said, how many of these people bought between 90 days and 18 months? And it turned out that within the first 90 days, this group of people that were in the market for something, within the first 90 days, 25% of them had actually said no. They thought they were in the market for something, and it turned out they made a decision that they actually weren't in the market. So they went and they looked at it. They looked at stuff. They kicked the tires, thought they wanted to buy something, and within 90 days, they made a decision to say, you know what, I'm not going to buy that thing. 15% said, yes, I'm going to buy that thing. So within 90 days, you probably have all experienced this. Somebody that asked you for a proposal, and within the first 90 days, they say yes. Or maybe there's that group of people that, say, hey, thanks for the proposal. We've decided to go a different direction, right? They came in hot. They decided to not move forward with you or with anybody else. Now, they followed up with these people for the next 18 months, and they found that another 25% of these people, another 25%, made a decision to not buy the thing in the first 18 months. Okay, they made a decision to say, no, we're not going to buy the thing, right? 35% of the people that were in the market for something said yes between 90 days and 18 months. Most agencies, most businesses, in fact, right, beyond agencies, are set up to only capitalize on this group of people. You got a lead, you had a conversation, you gave them a proposal, maybe, and you tried to follow up with them. And they maybe never got back to you and they kind of went away. But this group of people, the group of people that took more time, they just needed more time, maybe they needed more information, more education. This is where the money is. The money is in the follow-up, right? And when I learned this concept, like we had great sales processes that followed up with these people. And I had no list nurture strategy. We sent an email to our list like once every 3 months. So there was this group of people that said, hey, I'm in the market for something that we weren't actually nurturing. And when we started to nurture that list by sending out a weekly email, and that was it, one email a week, right? All of a sudden, our business started to double and triple, because it wasn't that email marketing is some, crazy, insane tactic or strategy. It's just this simple idea that some people need more time, some people need more education. And if we simply nurture those people and we build a plan to nurture them over 18 months or maybe even 3 years or 5 years, we can get a massive lift on our business. Massive lift on our business. So when I talk to people about this idea, about building your list strategy, getting people to raise their hand, all I want you to think about is we're trying to get people to raise their hand, and we're going to try to nurture them and play the long game so that we're not just capturing that 15%, but we're capturing that 35%. Key principle number 2, choose your platform, choose your stack, your tech, and choose it quickly. We don't want to spend a huge amount of time when it comes to the things that we're implementing, the tools that we're implementing to make this happen. So once you have your list started, it's best to find an email platform or a lead magnet platform that you can quickly modify, quickly edit, and get your magnets live fast. One of the biggest mistakes, I'm using this image here of, I don't know if you guys have seen those spy movies, where like they go in and they pick their weapon, right? And there's all these really cool like weapons and cool tools and all these cool gadgets, right? Like that's what I feel like as being a marketer sometimes. Like we're going in and there's insane stuff, right? But what is the weapon that always like wins the hero always wins with, right? It's like the pen or something like that, right? It's the simple stuff. It's the simple stuff. So when you look at your platforms, what I want you to do is I want you to think about, a couple of key things. Number one is you need some way to build a page. Build a page, right, that your lead magnet hangs out on. You need some way to capture your list. You need some way to build your magnet. And the simpler that you go with this stuff, the better. The simpler that you go with this stuff, the better, right? If you're somebody who's a web pro and you know how to build WordPress pages from scratch, what I want to challenge you on is whether that's even right for you or not. Because what you want to do is have something where you can build web pages really, really quickly. If you are a web pro, go out there and find a theme, find a template, something that gives you a WYSIWYG editor to where you can quickly build pages. If you're having to go in and hand code your lead magnets, that is a problem. When it comes to your list, there are some really fancy automation tools out there. Really crazy, powerful stuff. If your list is below 1,000 people, just don't even worry about it. Like literally automation, just don't even worry about it. Get people on your list and start creating a routine pulse of emailing those people. Like literally just think, I need to get people on my list and I need to get these people a message once per week. That's all I want you to think about. When it comes to your magnets, it could be a PDF, it could be a Google Doc. It really doesn't matter what the actual document is. It literally could be something that you have lying around your business right now. We'll talk more about that here in a little bit. So we want to go simple with this stuff. One of my longtime mentors says, start simple, get fancy later. And I can't emphasize this enough. When it comes to your tools, your pages that you're building, all that kind of stuff, like make this insanely easy. You should be able to get a lead magnet up and running, start to finish, page developed, lead magnet created, like I believe within 30 to 60 minutes. because it's not about the magnet. It's about getting your audience to raise their hand and say, I'd love to give you my information for a little bit of value. Like, that's it, right? So we want to choose your platform, choose your stack, but we want to do that in a way that is simple and easy, and we want to get as simple as possible to get your magnet online. If you have not yet launched a lead magnet, if you have not yet started email marketing, all that cool automation stuff, all the cool, crazy tools, like literally, I just want you to forget about it and go really, really simple. Find a way, like even if it's a Google form where somebody can put their information and get on a list, and you can like manually email them because you don't have enough money to like sign up for MailChimp or whatever, right? But like those platforms, you can get really lost in setting up complicated systems when all I really want you to focus on is getting a basic magnet online and focus all of your attention and energy on building traffic for that magnet. Okay, so choose your platform. Think about yourself as that secret agent. And yes, there are all these cool tools, but right now you just need like one thing, right? All right, once you have your magnet, right? And we're gonna, in our next masterclass, we're gonna be talking more specifically about actually building your magnet. But what we wanna do is we wanna cast our magnets. And we wanna think about this like we're going out on a fishing boat and we're trying to increase our odds of catching a fish. So if you ever see those fishing boats out there, they have like 5 or 6 or 7 fishing poles off of them. And I want you to think about your business and your lead magnets just like that. You don't want to just have one reel out there trying to catch fish. You want to have a bunch of reels out there. And a lot of people get stuck on this. They try to create the perfect lead magnet. I'm going to tell you right now that you do not have enough information to know what your market is going to want more than something else, right? What you can probably do is figure out what are 5 or 6 cool ideas that maybe my market might really like. And we want to put those 5 or 6 lead magnets out there, and we want to see which one gets the fish, right? We want to test a few different pieces of bait for our market and put them all out there and see what happens. So we want to take this mindset of casting out a bunch of magnets out into the marketplace all at once. So let me give you some examples, right? So when we first launched our business, these are about a half dozen or so magnets that we launched. We had a website proposal, a marketing proposal, a lead generation checklist, a video that I had done with some other web pros on pricing, had some scripts that I had used with my team. So most of this was stuff that we already had sitting on the shelf. Here's what that looks like. So this is our proposal template. So literally I took a proposal that I had used in my business. I blanked out all of the client information and I literally shared a link to the Google Doc. It wasn't even a PDF. It was just a link that came across in an email to a Google Doc. It took me about 15 minutes to scrub client information out. It took me about another 20 minutes to create a landing page that had this on that had an opt-in on there. And it took me another 15 minutes to write an email that said, hey, thanks for downloading the lead magnet. Here you go. Here's the link. Right? So within an hour, I had this lead magnet online. This lead magnet has been downloaded like over 50,000 times. Over 50,000 times. It took me an hour to put together. I spent all of my time building traffic for this magnet. Here's another example of a little checklist that we put together. I sat down for a couple of hours and I literally just came up with as many ideas I could to market your business. I literally thought about my own experience and I just created this really big list of things that I had done to grow and market my business. I put them on a list. We printed it as a PDF from Google and then we threw it online, right? This lead magnet has been downloaded hundreds or maybe thousands of times. We had this pricing guide. This is a video. This is it. Video on a page. Like it was a video we already had sitting on the shelf. It was already there. It was not created for the purposes of lead magnet. It already existed and we just put it on a page. We put an opt-in in front of it and then we had that magnet. This is a cold calling script that I used with my team. And we just put this out there as a lead magnet. We just took it, we scrubbed some of the specific information about our company out of it, replaced it with ABC company, prospecting cold call flow, and put it online. Responsive design business kit, right? This was it was a zip file of a bunch of templates and resources that we just had lying around the office, put that together, right? Thousands of people downloaded that. How to sell a $10,000 web project. This was an internal documentation for one of our courses. We took a chapter out of it and we threw it online. Website proposal objection answer script. So I had a document of written objections for selling websites. And we went in there, this was an internal document, And so we just took that Google Doc, we prettied it up a smidge, and we put it out there as a lead magnet. This is a website, selling services document. Let's see here, this one. Okay, this is a piece of content. It was a blog post. We took a blog post, we repositioned it as a lead magnet, and we put an opt-in in front of it. Like, this content was probably available for free somewhere else. We just turned it into an ebook, we organized it, and we ran paid traffic to it. This is a lead magnet that I built actually that you all can use. So I'm going to post a link to this here in a second into chat. If you want this, and this is not, I don't believe this is hooked up to any email marketing on my side, but what you'll get is you're going to get an email course. And here's the deal. If you're a web company, you can use this opt-in page. You can use the email course 100% in your business. So if you go and you take this copy, like, you can feel free to use this landing page copy. You can use the emails that you get from this. So there's a 4-part email course. So there's not even like a PDF or an ebook. I just created 4 emails, maybe 1,000 words of content that are dripped over 4 emails, and that's a lead magnet, right? So what I want you to understand from this part of the training is to try to not think in perfection when it comes to your lead magnet. When it comes to lead magnets, we don't know what our market is going to like the most. What we can have is some guesses and some intuition to say, you know what, maybe my market wants this thing over here. Maybe they want a free email course. Maybe they want a marketing proposal. Maybe they want a website proposal. We don't know what our market wants. Our market knows what our market wants. We need to throw and cast our line into the water, and we need to see what works. Now, it turns out this website proposal template, now at the time, I think we had launched something like 6 different lead magnets, something like that. And at the time, I had no idea which of the magnets was going to work the best. If I would have, had to guess, I probably would have said, our pricing panel, right? How to charge $150 an hour for web design services. Because I was like, oh, that sounds so great, right? Well, it turned out that our website proposal, it beat all of our other magnets like 10-1. Like, all of our other lead magnets combined didn't get us the same results as this one magnet did. And it got like 10x the results that the other magnets got. So instead of trying to get things right with your magnets, instead just think about it like a little bit of bait you're putting on a line. It's small, it's tiny, it doesn't take a lot of time to put together. We're gonna put a little value on the hook, and we're gonna cast it out there in the water, and then we're gonna cast another one, and another one, and another one, and we're gonna see which one actually works to help us build our list the fastest. So we don't wanna think in terms of perfection, we wanna think in terms of action when it comes to casting our magnets. Don't spend 3 months creating one magnet thinking it's going to be the perfect magnet. Don't create a magnet to have, having one lead magnet on your website where you just have this one thing and you're convinced it's going to be the perfect magnet. Like, you don't know, right? It's like blogging or any kind of content. Like, you don't know which one of your blog posts is going to become, viral or whatever, right? Like, all we can do is come up with some ideas, throw them out in the marketplace, run traffic to them, and have the market tell us, right? Have the fish tell us, right? Which bait do you actually like the most? Key principle number 4, when you're thinking about your lead magnets, when you're thinking about your list, is we want you to turn up your traffic. Turn up your traffic. So if you think about it like this, for every hour you spend building your lead magnet, I want you to spend 100 hours driving traffic to it, or whatever the 100x is, right? Let's say you spend an hour building the magnet. I want you to spend, equal to 100 hours of ad buy on your magnets, right? I want it to be 100 to 1x, 100 to 1 difference in terms of the effort you put in to driving awareness to your magnets to the effort you put into actually creating your magnets. And for a lot of people, that blows them away. They think like, oh, if I build this crazy lead magnet, all the traffic and all the email will come. Here's an example of a lead magnet I built for a podcast tour that I did, right? So I would give away a free copy of my course, and I'd go out there on podcasts. It took me, because the course already existed and I gave it away for free, It literally took me about 3 hours to build the funnel that was associated with this, right? So get your free copy of my course here. And every time I'd go on a podcast, I'd create a little landing page like this. And I went on dozens of podcasts. I spent all of my time building awareness for this same old course. I didn't build a new lead magnet every time I went on a podcast. I had one lead magnet and I went out there and I promoted it day after day after day after day. And you know what? I hope there are people in the market that were like, man, I've already heard Brent pitch this web design sales kit thing, or I already have it, right? That's great. But there's a lot of people that don't have it. You know, tens of thousands of people have the web design sales kit, but there's literally hundreds of thousands of web pros that don't have the sales kit. So I want to go out there on a mission to get as many people in my market to actually get this thing, get this lead magnet, make it useful for them and add them to my list. You know, versus you put a little bit of effort into growing your audience or growing your traffic for your lead magnet, and then you move on to another shiny object. We want to keep you away from that idea. I showed you all my proposal earlier. This is an ad that we ran on Facebook for our web design proposal. You can see here, we got 370 shares, 875 likes. People liked this thing. So we put some traffic behind it. Here's a list of my lifetime spend on Facebook ads. And check this out, website proposal template. That one lead magnet, I've spent over $50,000. Look at this, website proposal template 2. This was another test. Just in my top 10 ad spends over the last 6 years, in the top 10 list, I've spent $65,000 promoting that template, promoting a free lead magnet on Facebook. Something that took me a couple of hours to put together, I've spent over $65,000. I've spent somebody's salary on promoting the dang thing, right? It literally took me an hour to put it together. And I spent, you know, 65, and trust me, we ran a lot more ads. We probably to date have spent, I would say, closer to $100,000 on that one lead magnet because we know it performs. It gets people on our email list for a couple of bucks, $2 to $3. And if we get enough people on our email list at $2, let's say 500 of them, let's say that's 1,000 people, we know that out of those 1,000 people, 5 to 10 of them are going to become customers. And if 10 of those people would become customers, that's $100,000 in business. So just process that. If I spend $2 grand, $3 grand on ads to get people onto an email list from a lead magnet, I could potentially over 3, 4, 5 years generate $100,000 in business. Not because I'm building the coolest and best lead magnet out there. It's a good lead magnet. It's good value, right? We're not asking somebody to spend, you know, time with us or spend money with us yet. We're just asking them to get on our email list, and we're pumping traffic into those things like crazy. Like crazy, right? And actually, look at these, on these top 10 ads, most of these are some form of lead magnet, a webinar, an evergreen webinar, some kind of opt-in. You know, a lead magnet doesn't really take anybody any time, whereas a webinar does require somebody to spend some time on that. So pump the traffic, turn up your traffic, fill your reservoir of people that are on your list through content or partnerships or paid ads. I love paid ads because you have a lot of control, but we've also used organic means like blogging and things like that. The first 10,000 emails we got on our list was purely from organic. I'd go out there and I'd write high value articles for other people's websites. And in that article, I would reference our lead magnets. And so we'd get some of that traffic back over to our website, and those people would get on our list. And then we'd have our audience that we could market to indefinitely until they unsubscribed. All right, number 5, our last key principle for our masterclass today is leverage your list. So many people have a huge amount of fear around this. They think that they're going to wear out their list. I want you to think about your list as an everlasting gobstopper. It is really hard. If you're constantly adding people to your list, it is really hard to burn your entire list because you over communicated with them. I would say 99 times out of 100 when it comes to agency owners, you are actually burning your list because you are not sending emails to them, not because you're sending them too many. Right? It's really rare. Like I know some people that even do daily emails and they get barely any unsubscribed because they're dropping value every single day. So if you're fearful right now, if you have 50 people or 100 people on your email list and you don't want to bother them, what I want you to do is I want you to think about it like your list is the everlasting gobstopper. If people don't want to be communicated with you, If people don't like your value, if they don't like your style, if they don't like how you write, they will unsubscribe. It is their responsibility to take themselves off of your list. What you want to do is you want to speak to the majority. You want to speak to the people that are your people on your list. And you want to take the mindset that you are not going to wear them out. You're going to drop value after value after value to that list, and they're going to stay on your list, and they're going to get a ton of value out of that. So one of the biggest challenges that I talk to people about is actually getting ideas for their list. So I'm just going to go ahead and give you like a ton of ideas. Once you have your magnet in place, once you have a few magnets and you're building your list, and later on in this masterclass, right, the next masterclass we run, we're going to go deep on building lead magnets, right, of a lot of the strategies and tactics around what actually goes into a high converting lead magnet that gets you a conversation. But let's assume you've got that lead magnet out there in the world today. Well, we need to make sure that we're staying in front of our list, okay? So here's an example, and you got to read my handwriting, but I sat down with one of my clients. She said, I don't know what to send to my list. So I was like, well, let's talk about what you do for your clients. She teaches them about presentation skills, stakeholder management, business, the business side of their running their companies, the user side, there's freebies and tools, expert influencer interviews, customer interviews, PR hits, results from clients, case studies, testimonials, affiliates, personas, right? These are her things. But what we did was we indexed her services. We indexed her problems. Every problem that she solved as a business became an email. One of the problems that she solved was building wireframes, teaching UX pros how to build wireframes. So that became an email. So we created this huge index of topics based on problems, solutions, case studies, results, some press that she had gotten in her market. We pulled that all together and we created a really simple 52 boxes in the sheet of basically her email pulse. So in 1 hour, we mapped out an entire year of her email marketing calendar. So that every week she wasn't sitting there going, what am I going to send to my email list today, right? We spent 1 hour mapping the entire year out based on the type of email she was going to send. Sometimes she'd send some value emails around the types of stuff that she delivered. She'd send out case studies. She'd send out affiliate drops. She'd send out some PR. She'd send out some screenshots that she'd gotten back from clients. She'd send out, this kind of stuff. And we mapped that all out in an hour. And then she was done. She could just then show up every week and open up her email program and say, what am I sending to my list today? Oh, I'm sending them an interview that I did. I'm sending them a link to a blog post that I wrote. I'm sending them a screenshot of a case study. So we made it to where she only spent 30 minutes a week nurturing her email list. So once you have that list, we want you to try your hardest to wear it out. Try, see if you can email your list for a year and have people say, man, you email me too much. I promise you, they're not gonna say that. They're gonna be like, man, I'm getting so much value from you. This is amazing, right? So take that everlasting gobstopper approach to your list. Leverage it, nurture it, and capture that 35% of people that take more than 90 days to make a purchasing decision. And you're gonna see massive lift in your business. Massive lift. If you guys have questions, if you've been watching today's session, we've got a couple of minutes here for questions, but as we close out today, I want to review what we've taught you. We've taught you to build your list strategy, get your market to raise their hand, fill that reservoir. To choose that platform, keep it simple, get fancy later, as Brad Martineau says. Choose that one tool for your page builder, for your list builder, for your magnet. Keep it really simple and think about it as a system. Try to get something up fast versus perfect. You can optimize it and get crazy and fancy with it later. Number 3, we want to cast our magnets like we're going out on a fishing expedition, and we want to have 5 or 6 reels out there in the water, testing different kinds of bait. We want to build a system around casting more, not trying to perfect the bait. Try some different things that are radically different, but that don't take you a huge amount of time to actually build them, right? People don't spend time sitting in their garage, trying to mix crazy bait together, right? They maybe spend a little bit of time building their bait, and then they go out there and they actually fish, right? We want you to spend your time fishing. Number 4, we're going to turn up our traffic 100 to 1. The amount of time you spend building your magnet, the system for getting your lead magnet online, I want you to spend 100x the resources on actually promoting that magnet. When you do that, If you then come to me and say, Brent, this didn't work. I spent 100 hours promoting my magnet. I didn't get any leads, right? If that's the case, we'll have a conversation and I'll get in there and I'll build that magnet for you. All right. We'll figure it out together. All right. But if you do that, I promise you, you're going to get a ton of leads if you just focus more on the traffic than on the actual magnet itself. And number 5, we want to leverage that list. We want to leverage that list. Wear that list out. Think of your list as an everlasting gobstopper. Yes, people will unsubscribe, but I promise you, if you've got a good growth strategy for your list in place, you're going to get more subscribes than unsubscribes, and that's really all that matters. That's really all that matters. So we've talked about a lot of key principles today. I see a lot of likes, a lot of shares on today's post. This has been a ton of fun. If you guys did download our workbook today, if you did download that workbook, you're going to get some really cool tools along with that. We're going to be compiling this into a complete masterclass. This is just the first session on this. We've got the Agency Breakthrough Masterclass. We've got a bunch of resources in the workbook that will walk you through identifying your strategy and also mapping out your schedule so we can at least knock those 2 things off the list in terms of where are you going to get your list from, where are you going to get those traffic sources from, and what are some of those lead magnet ideas that you have, and then what are the things that you can email to that list over the next 52 weeks. Okay, so we're going to start to build that high-level strategy, and then from there, you're going to turn up the volume. And by the end of this masterclass, we're going to be teaching you guys specific strategies and tactics on how to grow that email list. The next session that we have coming up is called 10x your magnet conversions. So in the next masterclass on December 17th, we're going to actually walk through building your magnet. We're going to walk through a lot more examples of lead magnets and what types of things that you need to have in place with your lead magnet system to not just get leads, but also turn those leads into conversations. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this first Cloudways Agency Breakthrough Masterclass. I had a lot of fun teaching you all today. Definitely check out if you guys are interested in learning more about our Cloudways Agency Breakthrough Masterclass. Please stay tuned. Mark your calendars for December 17th. We're going to be running the second session of this. When it's all said and done, we're going to be bringing it together in an amazing masterclass package for you. So if you're wanting to get this stuff like really laid out for your business and you need that kind of detail, we've got that stuff coming for you. So we're excited to have you a part of our Agency Breakthrough Masterclass series. Thanks to the Cloudways team for being so awesome and helping us to put this together. And thank you for all being here today. Thank you for watching and hanging out with us today. That's all for our program. Until next time, I'm Brent Weaver.